Hello everyone, this is SMD Mazharul Haq, Assistant Professor, TP Department, ISL Engineering College. I am dealing the subject utilization of electrical energy. In the previous class, we have seen about some different types of lamps and some definitions of illumination, and we have seen some units of the different types of illuminations, and we have seen different categories of laws like laws of illumination. And in today's topic, we will be learning about the MHCP, and Rosier's construction. So let us begin the topic now. So, light is the prime factor in the human life, as well as activities of human beings ultimately depend upon the light. Where there is no natural light, use of artificial light is made, and artificial lighting produced electrically on account of its cleanliness, ease of control, readability, and steady output. So the science of illumination engineering is therefore becoming of major importance here. So the nature of light. Light is a form of radiant energy, and various forms of incandescent bodies are the source of light, and light emitted by such bodies depend upon the temperature of the bodies. Heat energy is radiated into the medium by a body which is hotter than the medium surrounding it. The heat of the body as seen can be classified as red hot or white hot. While the body is red hot, the wavelength of radiant energy will be sufficiently large and energy available is in the form of heat. When temperature increases, the body changes from red hot to white hot state. The wavelength of the energy radiated becomes smaller and smaller and enter into the range of the wavelength of light. Now coming to the color, the sensation of color is due to the difference in wavelengths of the light radiations. Visible light can have wavelengths of light between 4000 Armstrong units and 7500 Armstrong, and the color varies in the way of as shown in the figure. The relative sensitivity. What is relative sensitivity? The sensitivity of the eye to the lights of different wavelengths varies from person to person and according to the age. The average relative sensitivity is shown, and the high have greater sensitivity for wavelengths of about 5500 Armstrong units. That is, yellow green can be seen under such poor conditions of illumination. When blue or red cannot be seen under dim illumination, the sensitive curve shifts as shown by the shaded in the following figure. Therefore, the violet disappears first and red remains visible, and yellow disappears last as the illumination becomes very dim. As each color disappears, it becomes a gray shade and finally black. The sensitivity of eye to yellow-green radiation is taken as unity or 100%, and sensitivity to other wavelengths is specified as a fraction of percentage of field. The relative sensitivity at wavelength lambda is written K lambda and is known as relative luminosity factor. Illumination differs from light very much, but generally these terms of use are more or less synonymously. Strictly speaking, light is the cause and the illumination is the result of the light on surfaces on which it falls. Thus, the illumination makes the surface look more or less bright with certain color and gives the brightness and color which the eye sees and interprets as something useful or pleasant otherwise. Light may be produced by passing electric current through filaments as in incandescent lamps and through arcs between carbon metal rods or through suitable gases, and also this type of radiation in some form the lamp the light is due to the fluorescence excited by the radiation arising from passage electric current through mercury vapor. Some bodies reflect light in some measure, and when illuminated from an original source they can become secondary source of light. The good example is the moon, which illuminates earth by means of reflected light originating in the sun. The terms used in illumination here, the modern lighting schemes and the selection of fittings and types of lamps require knowledge of the terms and quantities in general use. For such purposes, therefore, the following definitions are given in simple form to facilitate easy identification and reference. Light. The definition of light. It is defined as the radiation energy from a hot body which produces the visual sensation upon the human eye. It is usually denoted by Q, expressed in lumen hours and is analogous to watt hour. Now, luminous flux. It is defined as the total quantity of light energy emitted per second from a luminous body. It is represented by symbol F and is measured in lumens. The concept of luminous flux helps us to specify the output and efficiency of given light source. Luminous intensity. The luminous intensity in any given direction is the luminous flux emitted by the source per unit solid angle measured in the direction in which the intensity is required. It is noted by symbol I and is measured in candela. If F is the luminous flux radiated out by the source within the solid angle of omega steradian in any particular direction, then I is equals to F by omega lumens per steradian or candela. Lumen. The lumen is the unit of luminous flux and is defined as the amount of luminous flux given out in a space represented by 1 unit of solid angle by a source having an intensity of 1 candle power in all directions. Lumens is equals to candle power into solid angle, that is equals to Cp omega. Total lumens given out by the source of 1 candela is 4 pi lumens. What is the candle power? What is the candle power? So the candle power is nothing but it is the light radiating capacity of source in a given direction and is defined as the number of lumens given out by the source in a unit solid angle in the given direction and it is denoted by Cp. So the formula is Cp is equal to lumens by omega. What is illumination? When light falls on the surface, the phenomenon is called illumination. It is defined as the number of lumens falling on surface per unit area. It is denoted by symbol E and is measured in the lumens per square meter or meter candle or lux. So E is equals to F by A lumens per meter square is the illumination. Lux or meter candle. It is unit of illumination and is defined as the luminous flux falling per square meter and on the surface which is everywhere perpendicular to the rays of the light from a source of 1 candle power and 1 meter away from it. What is foot candle? It is also the unit of illumination and is defined as the luminous flux falling per square foot on the surface which is everywhere perpendicular to the rays of light from the source of 1 candle power and 1 foot away from it. 1 foot candle is equals to 1 lumen per feet square, that is equal to 10.76 meter candle or lux. What is candle? Candle is the unit of luminous intensity. It is defined as 1 by 60th of the luminous intensity per centimeter square of black body radiator at the temperature of solidification of platinum. Mean horizontal candle power MHCP. It is defined as the mean of the candle powers in all directions in the horizontal plane containing the source of light. Okay. And what is MSCP? It is defined as the mean of the candle powers in all directions and in all planes from the source of light. So this is MHCP and MSCP. What is mean hemispherical candle power? It is defined as the mean of the candle powers in all directions above or below the horizontal plane passing through the source of the light. Reduction factor is equal to MSCP by MHCP. Lamp efficiency. It is defined as the ratio of luminous flux to the power input. It is expressed in lumens per watt. Specific consumption, it is defined as a ratio of power input to the average candle power and it is expressed in watt per candela. So what is brightness or luminance? When the eye receives a great deal of light from an object, we say it is bright, and brightness is important quantity of illumination. It is all the same whether the light is produced by object or reflected from it. Brightness is defined as the luminous intensity per unit projected area of either a surface source of light or reflecting surface and denoted by capital L. If the surface area A has an effective luminous intensity of I candelas in the direction of theta to the normal, then the brightness of the surface is L is equals to A by 1 by A cos theta candela per meter square. Okay, you are calculating the luminance, the brightness, then L is equals to 1 by A cos theta candela per meter square. It is defined as the candela per square meter. Bigger unit of brightness luminance is still which is defined as candle per square meter. Lambert is also the unit of brightness which is lumen per centimeter square. The integrating sphere consists of hollow sphere whose diameter is large compared to the lamp to be tested and having a smooth inner surface. So here A small window of transparent glass provided one side of sphere is illuminated by the reflecting light from inner surface of the sphere. The small screen is inserted in between the lamp and window in order to prevent the light from lamp reaching the window directly. Source of light. What are the sources of lights? According to the principle of operation, what we are having here is group source may be classified into different groups also. So here if you see here the arc lamps, electric discharge through air gives intense light. The principal utility is called as arc lamps. High temperature. Oil and gas lamps are an incandescent filament type lamps which emit light when heated to the high temperature. So what is gaseous discharge lamps is we are having some vapor, so metal vapor which is accompanied with visible radiation, and it operates on the principle that under certain conditions it is possible to pass electric current through a gas or metal vapor which is accompanied by visible radiation. Sodium and mercury vapor lamps operate on this particular principle. Fluorescent type lamps. Certain materials, when exposed to ultraviolet rays, the absorbed energy into the radiation of longer wavelength lying within the visible range is called as the fluorescent type of lamps. This principle is employed in the laws of illumination. There are two laws of illumination, that is law of inverse squares and Lambert's cosine law. Inverse square law. This law states that the illumination of a surface is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the surface and the point source. So let us have a proof of it. Let S is a point source of luminous intensity here. This is the S source of a point source of luminous intensity S. So I is equal to candela, the luminous flux emitting from the source. This is I is the candela, the luminous flux emitting from the source. A1, A2 and A3, the three parallel surface areas in square meters. D, 2D and 3D is equal to distances of A1 and A2 and A3 from point source respectively as shown in the figure. For area A1, the solid angle omega is equals to A1 by D square. Flux on area A1 is equal to luminous intensity into solid angle. So I into omega is equals to I into A1 by D square. Therefore, flux on area A1 is equals to I into A1 by D square. And it is equation number 1. The illumination E1 on surface A1 is equals to flux per area. That is IA1 by D square into 1 by A1. That is equals to E1 is equals to I by D square lux. Similarly, illumination E2 on surface area E2 is equals to I by 2D whole square. And illumination on E3 surface is I by 3D square lux. So the ratio E1 is to E2 is to E3 is equals to I by D square, I by 2D square and I by 3D square. This is the nothing but the inverse square law. But because it's inverse, E1 is having the inverse of distance, so it is inverse square law. Lambert cosine law. This law states that the illumination E at any point on surface is directly proportional to the cosine of the angle between the normal at that point and line of flux. Proof. While discussing the Lambert's cosine law, let us assume that surface is inclined at an angle theta to the line of flux as shown in figure. Let PQ is equal to surface area normal to the source and inclined at theta to the vertical axis. RS is equal to the surface area normal to the vertical axis and inclined at an angle theta to the source O. So here it is mentioned like this: source O and P and R, Q or S respectively are shown here. So this is surface area, it is normal to the surface, and this is lines of flux. So PQ is equals to RS cos theta. The illumination of surface PQ is equals to EPQ is equal to flux by area of PQ. And we can write here I into omega by area of PQ is equals to 1 by I by area of PQ into area of PQ by D square also we can write. So it is nothing but I by D square. The illumination of the surface RS is ERS is equal to flux by area of RS. Flux by area of PQ by cos theta. RS is nothing but area of PQ by cos theta. PQ is equal to RS cos theta from this figure. PQ is equals to RS cos theta from this figure. So we can write here in its place PQ is equal to RS cos theta. And from the figure B, cos theta is equal to H by D. Cos theta is equals to H by D. This is H, this is D. D is equal to H by cos theta. Now substituting D from the above equation in the this equation ERS 1 by I by h by cos theta whole square into cos theta is equals to I by h square into cos cube theta. Therefore, ERS is equals to I by h square into cos cube theta. That is called as Lambert cosine's law. What are polar curves? They are the plot drawn between the candela power and the angular position. The light intensity is not same in all directions in most of the lamps because of their unsymmetrical shape. The luminous intensity in all directions can be represented by the polar curves. They help to find a distribution of candle power that is light in the different directions. So we are talking about the horizontal polar curves. It is a curve drawn showing the distribution of the candle power on a horizontal plane about a vertical axis passing through the source of light. The dip at 90 degrees is due to the coil filament occupying an arc separating the angle less than 360 degrees. So here the polar curve for a horizontal plane is shown here, and vertical polar curves. It is a plot drawn showing the relation between the candle power and the angle of illumination on a vertical plane passing through the lamp. The dip at 180 degrees is due to the position of lamp holder. Polar curves are used to determine MHCP and MSCP. Actual illumination of surface with the help of these curves. MHCP can be determined from the horizontal polar curves by taking mean of candle powers in horizontal direction. This can be done drawing a planar graph between the angular direction and the candle powers and deriving the mean from that particular graph. MSCP can be derived from the vertical polar curves by Rosier's construction diagram. What is a Rosier's construction diagram? When vertical plane is in the form of two lobes symmetrical about the vertical axis y o y dash, construction steps we will see now. Draw a circle with a convenient radius or diameter and draw any line OFA meeting the polar curve. This is a line meeting the polar curve. O, F and A meeting the polar curve. In F at circle at A, let the projection be G. Projection be capital G here. At G, erect an ordinate GH is equals to OF. By similar construction, draw other coordinates also. Like this, here one coordinate is drawn, the similar way, other coordinates also drawn here. And by the curve CSTGDBHL, C, where is C? Here it is C. STGDBHL, this total curve obtained by joining these coordinates is shown, and it is called as Rosier's curve. By this coordinate joining only, this curve is formed. This is called as Rosier's curve. The mean ordinate of the curve gives the MSCP. Mean ordinate of the curve is area of this particular CSTDGDBHL divided by length of CD divided by length of the CD. This one, this length gives you the MSCP. The area can be determined by using the graph or by the Simpson rule. Okay, this was the about the Rosier's principle for finding out the MSCP and MHCP. There are some artificial sources of light. There are several alternative schemes that act as substitute for sunlight. But light with electricity is pollution free and easy control method. Illumination by electricity is mainly classified in three types: by temperature incandescent lamps, by producing an arc between the electrode, that is arc lamps, and by discharging of electrons, that is fluorescent lamps and vapor lamps. These three are the artificial sources of light. Incandescent lamp. Electric current is passed through filament of thin wire placed in a vacuum or inert gas. The current generates sufficient heat to raise the temperature of the filament to the luminosity. Their output depends on temperature of filament, so that they are termed as temperature radiators. The fine wire is known as the filament placed inside it. Construction. Let us see the construction. It consists of an evacuated glass globe structure, and the evacuation is to prevent the oxidation, the conventional currents of the filament. To prevent decrease of temperature by radiation, coiled coil is employed to avoid the conventional currents. The coiled coil filament is the heart of the lamp where the light is created. It is supported and at two intermediate points by fine molybdenum wires. The electric current is carried by the filament to the filament by a pair of nickel plate steel lead, and therefore we are getting this type of bulb which is called as the incandescent lamp. So Here we are having the terminals are insulated from each other by a special black gas called vitrite, which offers high electric resistance even at elevated temperatures. The mixture of argon and nitrogen in the ratio of 80% argon and 15% nitrogen are employed. The properties of filament made of ideal material: high melting point, high resistivity, low temperature coefficient, low vapor pressure, and ductility. Sufficient mechanical strength to withstand vibrations during the use. These are the uh, table of things, that is property of carbon and tantalum and tungsten, that is resistivity, temperature coefficient, metallic melting point, density and efficiency. So it is given here, the data is given. Okay, this is the data given. Okay, now we will see some numerical problems. See here, a room of 20 by 10 meters is illuminated by 60 watts incandescent lamp of lumen output 1600 lumens. The average illumination required at the workplace is 300 lux. Calculate the number of lamps required to be fitted in the room. Assume utilization and depreciation factors as 0.5 and 1 respectively. So for this, the solution is the area of room is A, that is 20 to 10 meter, that is equal to 200 meters square. Total illumination required E is equal to 300 lux, and the wattage of each lamp is 60 watts. The luminous output of the lamp is given by 1600 lumens, and UF is equals to 0.5 and DF is equals to 1. Maintenance factor is equals to 1 by DF, that is equals to 1 by 1 is equals to 1. The number of lamps required is equals to N is equals to E into A by 5 into UF into M, that is 300 into 200 by 1600 into 1 into 0.5, that is 7.5 lamps. A drawing with an area of 18 by 12 meters is there. This is the second example. A drawing with an area of 18 by 12 meters is illuminated with the average illumination of 150 lux. The lamps are to be fitted at 6 meters height. Find out the number and size of incandescent lamps required for an efficiency of 20 lumens per watt. UF is equal to 0.6 and MF is equal to 0.5. Here N is equal to 120 lumens per watt and E is equal to 150 lux. A is equal to 18 into 12 is equal to 216 meter square. UF is equal to 0.6 and MF is equal to 0.75. The total gross lumens required is equals to phi is equal to E into A by UF into MF, that is equals to 150 into 216 by 0.6 into 0.75, that is equal to 70,000 lumens. The total wattage required is equal to 72,000 by eta, that is equal to by 20, that is equal to 3,600 watts. Let if 24 lamps are running to illuminate the desired area per space to height ratio unity, that is 6 lamps are taken along the length with the space of 18 by 6 into 3 meters and 4 lamps are along with the width giving a 12 by 5 is equal to 3 meters. The wattage of each lamp is nothing but 3600 by 24, that is equals to 150 watts. The arrangement of 24 lamps in hall of 18 by 12 is shown in the figure like this: 1.5 meters from the starting, and here the gap is 3 meters, and here it is 1.5 meters gap, and the total length and breadth is 18 meters and 12 meters. So like this we have to find out the wattage of each lamp here, and the previous problem we have seen that how we are calculating the particular number of lamps required in a room where some factors are given and asked to find out the number of lamps required. So students, I would like to end the topic here, and we will see the new topic in the next class. Thank you.